Hello, my name is Matthew Perkins, and today I'd like to talk about Dungeons and Dragons. That's right, both of them. So specifically, I want to talk about house rules. Now, a house rule is any kind of ruling that you and your group makes, especially for you and your group, to fix some kind of problem or add some kind of extra spice that you guys like. In my case, most of my house rules come out of necessity and forgetfulness, because in the heat of the moment, I'll sometimes forget the official ruling, even if I know it, and more likely, I just never knew it to begin with. So I work out a reasonable kind of solution, something that seems fair at the time, and if it seems fair, we'll just kind of roll with that because we've set a precedent. But don't worry, I'm not going to make you listen to every house rule that I run at my table. That would be dull. Instead, I've written them all down at my blog, which is matthewperkins.net. In this video, I'm just going to cherry pick the best of them, the ones that are most interesting. I'll talk about my reasoning, maybe good reasons, maybe bad reasons. Who knows? You be the judge. Hey, I trust you. Good job. That cat. Oof, that cat. Character creation. The one contentious thing that is in there is that I ban the lucky feat, and it's because I feel that re-rolling results that you don't like is kind of against the spirit of the game. I'm here to see what kind of story the dice and I can tell together. And if I'm inflicting my opinion on the dice by making it re-roll whenever I don't like the failure, that's not part of it for me. I am here for the failures. For ability scores, I roll for stats, roll 4d6, drop the lower, standard stuff, except at the end of that, if you're not happy with your result, you can take the standard array. One big difference I do is I tinker with level 1 characters. That's level 1 characters. So at level 1, rather than starting off with just your piddly level 1 hit points, you actually get to start with the hit points you would normally have at level 2, which is handy. And then when you hit level 2, you don't gain any hit points. And when you hit level 3, you start gaining hit points as normal. And the reasoning for that is that at level 1, a goblin can crit you and kill you. And that's just not fun. That's not dramatic, that's just unlucky. So I'm trying to curb that a little bit. For leveling up, I prefer milestone leveling. I've tried experience before, but adding everything up, it just got to be a pain in the bum. So for major quests, players can expect to get a level. For a whole bunch of minor quests, they can expect to get a level. And in general, I'd say they can expect to get a level at least every 3 sessions or so. When going from level 3 to 4, players are allowed to change their character's archetype as well. Just like a free retcon, because we're going to be stuck with that character for quite a while, hopefully. So I don't want them to be unhappy with the decision they made early on. This is the only time I allow that kind of amnesty. And if they want to change their race or their class altogether, or major character things, they're going to have to retire the character and make a new one. But I think it's handy. I think it's a handy, helpful amnesty to have. I use DM inspiration kind of like the lucky feat that I banned earlier. Hey, what a hypocrite this guy is. But whatever, that's where I landed. So what you can do is you can use DM inspiration to make any player, including the DM, re-roll any single d20. And, the cat did something that he wasn't supposed to probably. He's probably alive. It's probably fine. Don't call the RSPCA. So you can use that inspiration to make anyone re-roll any d20, and you receive inspiration at the start of the session for the actions that you took in the previous session, and that inspiration expires. It expires at the end of the session, and that's just to encourage people to actually use it rather than have it tarry on forever. In Curse of Strahd, our wizard got inspiration in Death House, and then he kept it for the entire campaign. I don't think he actually used it ever, and the whole time he was saying, I'm going to use this on Strahd, and then he didn't. When the bell dings and combat begins, I don't allow diagonal movement because A4 pages don't have a whole lot of squares, and I want to make the maps feel as big as possible. I also don't do the flanking bonus because I think the advantage for flanking kind of breaks a few class abilities for a few classes. I ripped one cool thing out of 4th edition, and that's minions. So minions, if they take any damage, they die. They have 1 hit point. If there are any effects that are like, make this saving throw. If you can dodge my fireball, you only take half damage. Nah, not for minions. They don't give a hoot about that. If they dodge something that deals half damage on a save, they instead take 0 damage. Like they have evasion. That's evasion, right? I think it's evasion. One of the more standard house rules floating about is that you can drink a potion with a bonus action, and you can administer a potion to an unconscious ally with a full action. I don't allow people to administer potions to conscious allies, because that's kind of weird. You've got Barry swinging a sword. In the meantime, Jeff has got a beer bong hat for... It's a hat full of beers, and he puts it on him, and it's potions instead. Oof. What a hat. Yeah, I don't like that. No good. No good. I swear, I just forget how to speak. I forget how to speak sometimes. 5th edition also has this free object interaction in its turn structure. And I just kind of extend that to be hot swapping of items. So in the same turn, whatever you have equipped, you've got your shield and you've got your club, you can go, I'm going to use my free object interaction just to swap out everything. You can stow your shield, you can stow your club, and then you can draw whatever this is, this invisible sword. And that's totally fine. You can do that on the same turn. And that's because it's a game. And being able to use the stuff that you have handily, that's more fun to me. Something that comes up pretty frequently is players wanting to do very specific weapon attacks against very specific body parts. And I would name that a called shot. Now, a called shot you can only do if you don't already have disadvantage from some other source, because a called shot is going to impose disadvantage on your weapon attack. And the result of a called shot, if it works, is that you are going to inflict a specific appropriate condition as determined by the DM on the creature. And it's only going to be temporary, maybe just a round or two. Or you will impose disadvantage on the creature's next weapon attack, much like the Vicious Mockery cantrip. And this isn't too powerful, but it rewards creativity strategically a little bit. It gives you a little bit more strategic breadth. On to spellcasting, and frankly, I don't know the rules for spellcasting very well at all. I don't know how this is supposed to work, but let's say that you've got a wand in this hand, and in this hand, you're holding the lead for the dog. You're walking the dog, you've got the bloody spell stick, and you want to cast a spell that needs you to wiggle your hands. Now, some DMs might say that, hey, you've got your wand over here, it's holding this wand, you need the wand as an arcane focus, you're going to have to let the dog go to the wilderness to wave your wiggly hands. I don't like that. You got to keep the dog with you. So you pick the lead back up. I rule that you can do your hand wiggling with your wand hand. You don't have to drop anything. You can just do a little pinky wiggle. That's okay, fine. The dog's happy. The wand's, I don't know, it doesn't have emotions. It's a stick. It's a magic stick, but no emotions. But yeah, you can just do that. That's totally fine. And the dog's fine. And everybody's fine. With spell scrolls, I think the official ruling is that you can only use a spell scroll if the spell that's on that scroll is also on your official spellcasting list. And I think that sucks. I like to see my fighters and my monks casting spells. So what I do is if you are a non-casting class, so you don't have a spell list, you can still use a spell scroll, that's fine. You just have to make a spellcasting ability check, and you don't get to add your proficiency bonus to it. So if you want to use a level 1 spell scroll from the wizard spell list, but you're a fighter, what you're going to have to do is make a DC 11 spellcasting check, and you're going to use the wizard's spellcasting ability modifier for it. So you'll be making an intelligence roll, but no proficiency for you, Mr. Fighter. You should have gone to school. For skill checks, I use passive insight, and that works exactly the same as passive perception. You already know this. Like, you can work this out. It works exactly like it sounds. When helping a character perform a skill check to give them advantage, I made a little change just to cut down when everybody wants to roll at the same time. Oh, I'll help him. Oh, I'll help him. No. If you want to help someone with a skill check, you need to have proficiency in that skill. I don't know if that one's a great idea, but I think it'll make your skill choices a little bit more meaningful and give you a bit of a niche to work in. And the rest of my house rules are just, dice etiquette. So if it falls off the table, re-roll it. If it's cocked, re-roll it. If it falls out of your hand and you didn't intentionally roll the dice, re-roll it, even if it's great. And that about does it for my house rules. If you want to check out the ones I didn't mention, or maybe slam me for the ones that I did mention, then you can catch me at my blog, which is matthewperkins.net. Hey, I'm working on a few projects at the moment. I've been redrawing all my character sheet stuff, and it's looking real good. I'm kind of powering through it. I think this YouTube channel, just having the focus of a camera on me, is making me accountable for my work a little bit more, so I've been really just hammering it. It's great. If you want to stay up to date with my progress on any of my projects, you can find me at Twitter, which is @mperkinsdm. And that's it. So that's the end, I guess. The end of the video. Those are my house rules. And I will see you later. Have a lovely whatever it is that you're doing. Bye.